So mate, tell me what's going on here. What have you done?
What have I done? Well, I'm sure you've watched the video, and I'm sure most of you were watching this has watched the video. Well, a little bit too much right foot climbing up a small. It wasn't even climbing a bank. It was really easy track.
Easy track. There's some pretty brutal tracks there though. Like they're like you said in the video. Like it's and I'm sure if you guys haven't watched the video, Bryden will put a link up in the top corner. But yep, that's it. And but as you said in the video, like the tracks are actually quite technical.
It's technical driving. There's nothing really difficult out there. It's all technical, and there's a chicken track for everything. And right tire pressures, right gear, you idle up fuel, idle through everything. So it's just
pick your line and have a crack. So what were you doing when this decided to chew itself out?
I was crossing what we call the bonus line. It's a creek crossing that we don't really use much. I think it's only been done twice now. 2.5, we'll count mine as a half attempt.
Yeah, right.
So you just drop your nose into the creek and put a gas and out the other side. Gearbox went midway, so I don't think it was anything to do with the track. I think it was purely a actual fault on the gearbox itself. So I've done a little research and talking to guys who have experienced the same, and apparently, not confirmed, this is allegedly, if these gearboxes have, or these transfer cases have spent a lot of time towing or a lot of time in low range, they do tend to wear.
And the Pajero is the favourite of the boomer tow vehicle, you know, like, and you know they made them for 20 years, and you know comfortable, cheap, or relatively cheap in that lineup of 5 to 7 seat wagons, very capable 4-wheel drives.
Yeah.
You know, they are a popular car. That's why there's so many of them. And look, as you can see, I would always suspect that an SUV has done some towing at some stage.
Well, I know for a fact this was a tow vehicle. The guy we bought it off of, still chat him online a little bit. He owns a racing team. Him and his sons race, and they used it to tow their race bikes up and down the country. So definitely has been used for towing. I've done a fair amount of off-road low range every weekend. Basically, it spends its weekend in low range. So
and that's the thing. I think people should know that about your Pajero. You've put 100,000 kilometres on it, and it's been a lot of it's been your daily driver, but it's also done a lot of hard work, and it's also a manual.
Yeah.
So for the amount of punishment that vehicle has seen, it's amazing that the driving gear has actually stood up so well. And it's got 350,000 kilometres on it now.
350,000. So she has worked. If you've been following us from the beginning, we're in Australia to explore, and I like to explore in 4-wheel drive. So we bought the Page with the idea it's going to do a lot of off-road case.
And that's what you've done. So mate, look, take us through what you reckon's going to happen today. Obviously, this one over here is the busted one.
This is the busted one. Should we?
I can reset, and we'll
spin it around so you can have a look at the little piece that's missing.
Right, I might bring the camera in. Oh wow!
So what's happened
is
just
bring the camera down, and
is this gear over here on the main drive. I think it's called that. I'm not a gearbox person, so I'm not an engine person. What am I doing? So.
Mate, a couple of weekend warriors, that's all we are.
Yeah.
So I'll just zoom in there. You can see where it's completely sheared that case. Now, do you know what actually sheared the case?
So what happened is, I don't know how much what you can see on it.
You just pull that in the shot. There you go.
So this gear runs up against that gear there, and I think the gears have simply, they've not meshed properly. They've what's the word? They've bound against each other.
I don't know.
I think that would be the term. I'm going to use that. So I think the gears haven't synced or meshed, and they've bound, and they've tried to climb each other.
So are they in constant mesh, those gears?
Yeah.
And then I think looking at the marks on this and looking how it's all picked out like that, my assumption would be just those gears under stress have sheared off. So.
Yeah, and then what's that's caused is once the teeth have climbed each other, that's just pushed the weakest part, which is this bearing here seats over here.
Yep.
And obviously, if you can look exactly where it's broken, is around where the bearing was. So it's just pushed the bottom of the transfer case out.
Oh wow!
So I think
so.
obviously-
Yeah, like one of the teeth has gotten caught between it and just punched, and so
out.
that bearing sitting there has punched it out this
Yep.
way and shattered the case. Wow.
So the pieces that are missing were still attached. It was all just dropped a bit low. I've obviously taken them out, drained the oil.
So we're
That's where we
gonna.
are.
So this gear here, that's gonna survive. This is getting replaced. That whole unit's
Yeah.
pretty much getting replaced. Yeah.
So what we've done is manual gearboxes are extremely difficult to find. So we've bought an auto transfer case. There's only two differences in them. It's the hole for the gear selector and the input shaft that are different. So the plan is to swap them out. We'll retain this cover. Nothing wrong with it. So
That's the rear cover, is it?
the front cover. This
That's
pairs
the
up with
front
gearbox.
cover.
So they're identical. The gearboxes on their back are
Well,
identical.
and so if we go over here,
Transfer case.
yeah, what have we got here? This is the other.
This is the donor out of a 3.2 diesel, 3.2 auto, sorry. So this is the donor which we'll be using. Everything, we've taken the input shaft out, the front cover off, everything else back we'll be using.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, we'll stop this now and we'll start getting stuck into it and post an update in a sec. Righto, mate.
Update time.
Update time. What's going on here?
Well, firstly I want to point out that we have got an awesome collaboration today happening between Wild Drift Adventures, check his channel out, it's pretty cool. Theo's Epic Videos behind the camera,
That's it.
and Random Ridiculous. So, 3 channels, 1 shed.
3 channels, 1 shed.
So this is that's the manual front plate. Gave it a bit of a clean up and we found a crack. So more damage.
Just a look at that crack. That is a significant crack there.
Yep. Which ties in with the rest of the damage, everything just pushed out. So we're grabbing the other plate off the auto, which is,
Well, we've just pulled that off the front of the auto box down here. So, but we've got an issue.
same but different. The manual obviously has a gear shifter, right? So we need to machine this out to take the shaft on this side and seat the seal on the other.
Now, when we say machine, we're going to get the plate up on the drill press, and this one seems to be the exact size that it needs to be to fit through that hole. So we're going to have to center that up and put a hole through there, and then that seal should sit back in there, right?
Yep, we'll grab the vernier in a few. I'm still doing cleaning. We'll grab the vernier, measure it all up, make sure we're playing with the same thing, and see what we can do from there.
Righto, let's get into it. Okay, don't move it.
No, it's moved, so you need to line it up.
Yeah. A little bit more. Oh, a little bit more. What? And the drill. That's oh, it's almost perfect. You good? It's going to center anyway. I can see it here, mate. I think that's bottom there. Why does that keep pulling out? I tightened it up. I tightened it up. Doesn't need it now anyway.
We're back. We're not celebrating, but we're having a look at that.
Just show that hole again. So we just, with that hole saw, we just machined that down. So that's come up pretty good. So now we're going to go pretty much all the way through, right?
No,
Or are we going to test that seal first?
smaller bit.
Yeah, I got the smaller bit here. Look, already got it.
Dropped right in there.
Look at that, sports fans. Where's the seal? Look at that. It's perfect. So what size? That was a 25mm hole saw bit on an auto transfer case cover. Just machining down that hole so it fits that seal. So we're going to pop that seal back out now, and we're going to get the this one, but I do.
It's the 17. So the shaft,
It's 5/8 or 16mm. That one.
the shaft that goes through is 14 mil. So
Okay, so we've got 2mm clearance. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right, just line it up first. Nope.
Yep.
Okay, righto. Don't bloody move. Slow and steady wins the race on this one, mate. Oh.
We're not playing with very thick material.
No, it's bloody. It cuts through like a hot knife through butter.
A sharp hole saw through alloy.
That's it. That's all you got to get through. That much material. So, just a dodgy full bore Bunnings special, 16mm. So that should be right.
So,
Yep.
the shaft? The shaft was just over 14 mil, so we needed. There's obviously a bit of gap. So the original was 17.9. I think we came in 17.8, and we've sort of come in at 17.2.
Yep.
Clearance is it's there, and the seal seats in. What did we say? 20 something, 27.
Oh, I think it was 24.51 was the machine finish. So the auto, what the
25.74 versus
25.88. So
thereabouts.
yeah. I mean, we're not going to break the micrometer out for that one, but where is that? Did you put that seal back in that tray? Oh, there it is. So just show the folks at home. Mate, that is... And that was literally just dipping a hole saw into it, eh?
Yeah, so the plates were identical, and it was quite easy for you to mark out, obviously using your skill.
My iometer.
Your iometer. send it up, punch it up.
Well, I centered it within about half a mil of the hole using a punch and an eye sight. So yeah, if we flip that one around, flip them around and just like have a look on the back side of the one we just cut. So that's the cut one, and that's the factory one. Actually, I mean, it is the hole on this one, just by eyesight, looks a fraction bigger.
It is. As I said, it's all about the
But that shaft's just going to slip straight through, yeah?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I think we maybe just Dremel and a little bit of a clean up on the inside of it.
Yeah, mate. Yep. I'll break the Dremel out. We'll give it a bit more clearance because it was that seal. The seal was the seating. That seal was
I'm happy with the seal seat.
Yeah, but that was the main worry, wasn't it? Now if we just Dremel that out a touch, it'll be schmick. You can up the speed on that thing too.
Oh, it's big by itself. That's factory.
That's factory now.
Pretty much. I've phoned Mitsubishi.
Spoke to Mitsubishi himself.
Yeah, he's still around.
Yeah, right.
He said, good job. 1704 versus 176. So
That's pretty good. It's within spec, mate, eh?
probably.
It's within tolerance.
Well, I would like to go to. I want to get it exactly. So let's just go a little more. So I had on my K250 a couple of years ago, I had the clutch started sticking. Took the entire thing apart, took the Dremel and just polished every edge of every single clutch blade and the clutch basket. Clutch sorted.
Wow.
Love those little tools.
Yeah, that was definitely the cheapest Dremel I could buy. I bought it for a weekend job and it seemed to have survived quite a few jobs, so it's still here in the workshop.
0.5 0.5 of a mil out.
Mate, I'd call that done.
Using the compressed air, could you?
Yeah.
Aluminium good for you, I know that.
Compress only gives you dementia.
Okay, so that's that plate machined out. What are the differences now? I think we're pretty much ready to put it back together.
I would suggest so too. I mean, I'm looking at the video and I'm looking at the plates and I can't see bugger all difference there.
I'm going to take that dribble and just clean that up a bit too.
Yeah.
Right on the top there. It's funny, it's actually weird. The auto cast is not as clean as the manual. The manual, all the edges are very, very...
Well, I mean, if this is an older one, I mean, this could have had a blast.
2 years older.
Yeah, well...
I think this has been opened before as well, because the silicone of this was different to this one.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, the casting marks are different slightly. So you've got obviously 4 and 10 on this one, but everything else is the same.
You know what's scary is like the input shafts are what are supposed to be different, which is not that. That was just because I can, right? So this is off the auto. That's off the manual. No, that's the wrong part again, right? They're supposed to be different. They are different. Slightly different.
Oh, yeah?
You see a slight different shape in the... Can you see the difference? Right on the shoulder here?
A little bit, yeah. Yes, I can. That one's got a longer spline. A slightly longer spine. That's got a slightly shorter spine.
And the shoulder, the collar is different. This one is machined up and flattens out. This is machined in and then tapers in towards the side. So that's the manual. I hope.
But we can reuse that one again anyway.
That's the one we have to reuse. Yes.
Yeah. We can't reuse the auto.
No, so that's why I've kept them separate.
Yeah, good.
We'll be using the auto thingamajiggy, whatever gear that is. Which one's which now? That's how good we are.
Yeah, well, you can't tell the difference anymore, no.
So this is, I think that's the one that blew up on us over there. That's that one, not seated. And we need that one there to go in there, that way around.
Line up your marks, mate. Line up your marks.
What marks? Who marked what?
No, well, don't we have to get the 2 flat sides?
So these are going together. That one's going across.
Righto.
Yep. So that one sits in. Was this one in first? I can't remember.
So that's obviously a press fit.
It doesn't actually, just drops in.
Oh no, there it goes.
It is a press fit. I'll press it with my hands. Came in and out. It came out very easily. Oh, might be stuck.
Hey, get some heat on it. Oh well, she's in there now. Yeah, get that mallet out. How you boys going with the Toyota? Still working on it? We're making more progress on the Mitsubishi than you boys are making on the Toyota.
Yeah, it's just because I use my car, so it goes in the sand and gets rusty. Gets used as an off-road vehicle.
Bryden's quietly screaming inside. He's like, get stuffed.
I've actually got video footage of a short wheelbase Pajero 3.5 litre V6 shorty pulling one of these out of a track that I just driven.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I kept it very secret for a long time, but I've now posted it on socials. So I thought it was important that people know that the little pit bull can put out 4.5 tons.
Yeah, that is pretty wild.
So the real excuse was on my 31s, I just got traction in different places to the guys in 35s. That's what I'm going with. No, it was pretty cool. So this, I don't think this one's critical. I think that's the critical one. Because there's nothing on here that suggests it needs to go a certain way.
Yeah, so I'll do that.
So in the time that we've rebuilt the transfer case just about, the bull bar's finally come off the rusty old 76 series.
I don't point out that they're using using my marbles over here.
Boy, what's happened? Oh, what was that? Was that?
So obviously
That's a bearing off a solenoid, eh?
Yes.
That's off the valve. Yeah, don't lose those.
well, this is the trash gearbox.
Oh, okay, righto. And what have we got going on over here? So we've just put this back together.
Yep. So we've got this back together. Gears all in, nice. Yeah, finger.
Watch your finger.
Nice and clean.
Just for anyone who's looking to, these are like standard 17 Newton meters of torque into cast alloy. Definitely torque them up. We do have the torque wrench over there. We did torque them up. So, and there is a little bit of Loctite on there. So,
just a smidgen.
But mate, she's nice and clean. So what? We're looking at just cleaning up the new box.
I want to get the transfer case up on the bench, give it a bit of a clean, get the covers off, make sure I'm happy with everything there. Maybe get a wire brush into this.
Yeah, clean up all the mating surfaces and stuff.
Yep. Clean it up, get it ready to be put back together.
Copy that.
Pretty easy to be dead honest. We don't know if it's going to work yet. I mean,
well, mate, look, all signs point to yes thus far. So, I mean,
you know, if it gives me a rear-wheel drive for a week, I'll be happy. I'll go 4x4 next week.
Well, she wouldn't have lasted. I mean, I would prefer that it had broke at Goodna instead of breaking at Glasshouse.
Well, that's exactly what Janine and I said when she doesn't like it when I come in with a broken car. It happens from time to time, and the first thing we both agreed on was that it happened a kilometre from our house, and no towing, no problems recovering. We're supposed to be in Glasshouse today. It would have gone there.
And like with the weather, like it's just atrocious weather.
It's very wet. We would have been on the loud pedal a lot.
Yeah, the Paj would have come back covered in mud, that's for sure. Might have to get the cruiser out, Wiley. Let's come save the Pajero. Righto, let's get her on the bench.
Quick update. Front plate test fit to see if it goes on well. It's all gone on pretty good, I think. It's fitted quite nicely. We did have to resort to looking at the manual for these little gears over here. They have a little paint marker on the back. That's the 10th tooth, which needs to line up with the third.
So that's like a gear select, like solenoid or something like that.
It's the four-wheel drive actuators.
Okay.
So it's electronically controlled.
Yeah, right. Now that line there, it was the third groove across.
Third groove in to the 10th tooth on
10th tooth around, which is like 12 o'clock basically.
Yeah.
And there's actually, you can't see it, or you can just see it on the back side of these little cogs. There's actually 2 teeth missing on both of these. And so they've got to match up so that solenoid works properly.
Correct. And then obviously all the little solenoids in the back that will read what the bearings are doing, where the shafts are, and keep it, let the car know what it's doing basically. So just test fit quickly. It all seems to be pairing up pretty good. The holes look like they line nicely. So next we'll use some gasket maker, seal this up. We won't put the top on until I get home because obviously gear shifter's got to go in and all those beautiful things. There we are.
Right, well, we're going to break for some lunch, and we'll come back after lunch and carry on with the transfer case rebuild. Chef cooking.
When you said tea, I'm like, oh, I'll have a cup of, and then I realised tea to you guys is
bit of tea, bit of dinner.
Yum yums.
Oh no. Yeah.
Shoot. So we've just put the plate back on, cleaned it all up, put it back on, sealed it up. So
35 Newton meters of torque.
35 newtons, yeah. I just want to drop the cover on the top just to keep it clean inside. We'll spin the gearbox up and just check all the bolts on the back. Maybe I think 1 or 2 are leaking, so possibly split the back end of this off as well, then just seal it up.
Might as well check while we're here.
Don't want leaks.
Easier to do it on the table.
It went fairly well. I think we got it together pretty easy. All the markings lined up. There's a few specifics about the way we angle.
But that's all on the box anyway. So like just
we didn't change anything, so
no.
I don't think it'll be too much of an issue.
And that obviously that seal that we hole sawed out, that's gone in quite nicely. So that's good.
Seats quite nicely. But then, when we slide the gearbox, obviously this I can't seal this up now because when we put the gearbox back into the car, the selector shaft, we've got to get the, I don't know what it's called, the seat for the gear shift.
Yep.
It's got to be put onto the shaft. So you basically got to slide the gearbox half into place, put our little selector pin in place, and then
that all goes back together. Yep. But that comes after. And but you've already cleaned up all the mating surfaces and stuff on these.
All clean, ready to go. So I'm just going to drop it in place, bolt it down, and
we'll check the back.
Keep it all clean.
Nice work.
Yeah, but
Yeah, boys. Cheers, mate.
cheers. What a day.
What a day. So yeah, obviously the cruise is gone. We got the winch installed as well as getting this done as well. But yeah, on the gearbox, so Bryden, you've been cleaning it up a bit, so it's looking pretty tidy at the moment. No real issues. No.
I think rookie errors like pulling out a shaft and forgetting to take the little bearings out.
Oh yeah. So obviously
a magnet couldn't solve.
No, that's exactly right. So yeah, we did lose a couple of the little ball bearings for the solenoid into the gearbox, but we pulled them out. But that's just a process thing. Like, we've never done this before, so it was just one of those things. Just trying to learn as we go. But other than that, like, so we ended up pulling this section of the gearbox off and resealing all that up.
Yeah, the chain and everything looks good. So,
So-
for me, it was more about just making sure it's sealed properly because it looked like it had been weeping a bit. So happy that that's sorted out, and we'll pop into the car tomorrow and see how well we follow those instructions.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think one of the biggest helps was obviously had a laptop set up over there and going through the PDF, making sure that there was a process and all the shims and stuff were in the right place. So, but yeah, basically it's refreshed, ready to go, ready to fill up with oil, and put it back in the car. And that's going to be the biggest test. You said before you're a bit worried about your first time you're going to put it into full drive.
Yep. Don't worry about the first time I select low range and see what noises it makes. But again, we followed the workshop manual. We've lined up all the teeth in the way it said it should, so it should be good.
And to be fair, like, I think one of the biggest things is that apart from a Torx bit, it was a 12 and a 14 mil socket to get the whole thing apart, and a couple hits with the flathead screwdriver and a mallet to pull it apart. Like, it wasn't a complex process. There was a couple of circlips that we had to remove just to check a few things, but just use the long needle nose pliers. But there was no special tools involved. Maybe the hole saws was really the only thing that saved us. So I mean, really, what did we come up against? That, and anyone could do this. Anyone could replace their transfer case at home. I mean, you pulled this out with jack stands and a jack,
Pretty much.
So, I mean, if you do blow a transfer case on a Pajero, like, I mean, and Bryden's got a manual one, and as we've shown in the video, like, a couple of hole saws and a bit of a PDF from online, like, you're ready to rock and roll. I mean, this is your car, this is your daily driver, this is your hobby. It's something that you do every weekend. Well, I mean, what was your biggest concern? I mean, the job that we've done today, is there anything that we've done that anyone else wouldn't have done? Like, read a workshop manual, take it apart, line everything up, torque everything to spec,
Put it back together.
it has to work. And test it,
My concern is obviously with those two little gears up top. I mean, if we're a tooth out either way, it's not going to work. So it is accessible once the transfer case is back in the car, so I'm not too stressed about that.
And as you said, that you just pull the gear selector plate off.
I don't need to put it back in to test it.
Yeah, right.
So put it all back together. Obviously low range electronically controlled. So
Because and that solenoid plate, like that those two gears are just here on top anyway.
Yeah. So I think I'll be able to get to it without too much effort, and if it needs to shift the tooth either way, but we have put it in place according to the manual. So
And we did paint mark everything, so if there is an issue, if he needs to pull something apart again, we can definitely delineate where the issue may or may not have occurred. I think we've ticked all the boxes, and for a couple of novices working on something quite complex as a transfer case, like she's all ready to rock and roll. So now, one thing Gordon did say was that these Hall effect sensors for speed and cruise control, he's going to pull these off. One of them's not working, but your housing's in much better condition.
My housing's in better condition, it's just my cruise control doesn't work, so it's one of those two. I don't know which one. Doesn't really matter, I'll change them both out.
Yeah.
There's more things we can get to with the gearbox in place, that's not an issue.
That's exactly right. So how long do you think it's going to take to get this back into the vehicle?
Probably about 2 or 3 hours. Not, it's not difficult to get into place and push it in. It's reassembling the car. There's a lot of things you have to take off to get it out. A lot of little air hoses and, you know.
Yeah, so like vacuum lines, etc., just to access the box.
So the thing about taking it out, obviously not knowing where the bolts were, etc. I probably spent 3 hours taking it out.
Yep. And you did that over a couple of nights during the week, didn't you?
Yeah, I basically got to removing the gear shift, and I didn't have a spring pin punch. So
Oh, that's
couldn't
right.
get the spring pin out.
Yeah, right.
So I went and bought the punch the following day, and it took me another half an hour to drop the box. So
Yeah.
I reckon 2-3 hours should be back together. Again, it's the process is pretty fresh, so just put it in reverse. And
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, you know, if we had to do it again, like, obviously, you know, it's a repeatable process. It's fairly straightforward. Now we know what we're looking for. You know, when to put a plate back on, when to take the plate off, when to, you know, just all those sorts of things. How much residual oil is going to come out of the gearbox once you pull it out of the vehicle?
But even though I drained the oil this morning, it's still
a lot of
a bit more.
Yeah, there's a fair warning for you. Is like, if you're going to do this for yourself at home, make sure you tip it around a bit, get all the residual oil out, because there's still a fair bit in them.
I mean, even though the transfer case originally had a big hole in the bottom, and I probably leaked most of the oil out in the drive home.
Oh yeah.
It still leaked a fair amount after I parked it up. So
Yeah.
all in a good day in the shed.
Yeah, it has been a good day in the shed.
We need a light of fire now, and
Yeah, light a fire, have a beer, and well, I suppose the only thing to say is hope everyone's enjoyed watching a bit of random and ridiculous. And
what we call on-the-fly engineering.
Yeah, on the fly engineering, supported by on the fly engineering.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's been a good day, so yeah.
Well, here's cheers, everyone. Hope you're having a good weekend.
Cheers.
Well done. Cheers, mate.
What we've done is we've connected 12 volt to the actuator motor, and we're going to test. It's currently sitting in 2 high. We're going to give it a run through and see that it takes all of its gears. So it should shift through to 4H and then 4 low. There we go.
Woohoo! That looks
Working.
so cool.
So yeah,
Incredible is that though?
it's pretty cool. So there it is, just simple. 12 volts, so straight off the back of the car's using itself to power itself right now. That's pretty cool. But yeah, power to the motor, and then obviously if we want to test the reverse, we just reverse the polarities. That's too close for comfort. Just reverse the polarities and then it'll run back to 2H. Seems to be going okay.
That's awesome.
Janine's watching some Ford Grand Prix in the back. So day 2 of working on the transfer case. So after a good day yesterday reassembling the transfer case, this morning I did a bit of homework and found that I wasn't quite happy with the way we had put the actuator in. So I pulled the actuator out, set it according to the workshop manual, 50.5 mils extruded, and reassembled, and everything seems to be working. You'll watch the test now. I've recorded that so we can see that it's all shifting through the gears like it's supposed to. Now to put it back in the car, so enjoy. So just a quick update. What's the time now? No idea. Car says 3 o'clock, clearly not. It's probably an hour since we started with the putting the transfer case back in. As we stand right now, she's in. she's bolted. I've got 2 more bolts to do up, obviously on the inside of the car. 2 more bolts to do up over there, and then put the gear selector back in place and cover it all up. Then we start bolting in drive shafts and hopefully we're done. Back under the car, so what we've done, everything's back together. It's topped up with oil. That's not a leak, that's an overfill. So let's do a test. We're gonna fire it up. Don't put the inside together yet. So it's quite normal for the ASC light to stay on until we've driven a little bit. But let's go into 4-wheel drive. Yep. 4 lock. Yep. Low range. Seems to be okay. Yep. Back out. And 2-wheel drive. Seems like everything's working fine. That, my friends, is a success. Very happy with that. So now just put the inside of the car back together and take it for a ride. It's yeah, all good.
Yay! Yay!
To say I'm happy is an understatement. It's running well. There's no odd noises. It's just working beautifully, and I've already shifted it to 4 high and run 4 high on the car. It's all good. So to all those that helped, thank you. Moral support, mechanically minded support, workshop, you know, all those beautiful things that people just threw my way when I needed help. Thank you very much. Betty is back and will be at the Springs next weekend.